Hi, I'm Andy and welcome to my channel about crypto. In today's video, I will have a look at the current situation on the crypto market and where we are heading in the next few days and weeks. So let's have a look at the current price of Bitcoin. As we can see, since the last video, which was on the 16th of August, on Monday, we had an initial slight move down, but then the price picked up over the last couple of days. We are still staying firmly above 20-day moving average. This is the purple line here on the chart. And although we were approaching it in the last couple of days, we managed to stay above it, which is a good sign. We need to stay above it in order for the bull market to continue and to have a hope to put new all-time high. If we look at our 50-day and 200-day moving averages, which need to cross in order for a golden cross to occur and to create conditions to put the new all-time high, well, we are still quite far away from it. Essentially, it's this blue line here and the lime green line here. They would need to cross, and as you can see, they are slowly converging, but it will still take a while. I still don't expect it to happen anytime before at least early to mid-September, possibly even later, depending on price of Bitcoin. The higher Bitcoin goes, the sooner this will occur, the sooner these two lines will cross. But at the moment, with the prices being relatively stagnant, somewhere between $44,000 and $48,000, it may take quite a while to reach that point. Now let's have a look at ETH. Not much really happened here. ETH has been pretty much range bound for the last couple of weeks and it's been oscillating somewhere between, well, roughly $3,000 and $3,300. There were a couple of days when we had price dip below $3,000 level. To some people this may look a bit worrying, especially as we've been over 3,000 for a while, but to be honest, we are only moving up and down in a sort of 10% range, and as far as crypto is concerned, 10% is a boring day at the office. So yeah, ETH is pretty steady. I don't expect ETH to go significantly up until either Bitcoin starts moving up quite rapidly and people may start taking money out of Bitcoin and putting it into ETH, or until EIP 1559 is implemented by more platforms. Although the new protocol has been implemented on the blockchain, and there are sometimes blocks where ETH is actually deflationary and we burn more ETH than we create. For the most part, we're still creating more ETH than we are burning. And for ETH to become deflationary, we need the market to become much more busy, but also we need more platforms to implement the new protocol. Recently, I heard that only about 1% of all protocols actually use EIP 1559. For example, MetaMask currently doesn't use it. A lot of DeFi doesn't currently use it either. So as we see more and more platforms using EIP 1559, we can see ETH becoming more and more scarce, and that should push the price up quite a bit. But I expect that this will still take a few weeks, if not months, to happen. And then let's go to ADA. ADA has been really interesting in the last few days. So when we look at it on Monday, the price of ADA was actually going down and it was dipping below $2. But since then, it had this massive move up over the last couple of days. And actually earlier today, it put new all-time high. To be fair, it barely put a new all-time high. It was only by a couple of cents, but nevertheless, it's quite impressive, especially for such large market cap coin. And if you look at it, this move over the last couple of days, if we measure that, that's 36, almost 37% in literally 2 days from bottom to the top. That's pretty impressive, especially for a coin with such large market cap of around 80 billion. So what I expect to happen now? Well, if we zoom out to the previous all-time high, which was in May, we can see that we went up very, very quickly, but then we dropped down equally quickly to sort of $50 $50.80 range. Of course, this coincided with the dip in the whole market. So it's not necessary, so we don't necessarily have to repeat that pattern. And also it's important to mention, as I said in the previous video, that we are expecting now release of smart contracts on Cardano in, well, about 3 weeks now, on the 12th of September. So I expect the price of ADA to actually oscillate around $2.50 or potentially even going higher in the anticipation of the release of smart contracts, and then possibly dipping once the feature is released. There's a saying, buy the rumor, sell the news. Very often the prices go up in anticipation for the release of a feature, software or something, but then very often that doesn't quite live up to the expectations. The product doesn't quite live up to the expectations, or there was just simply so much excitement built in the market, and that often results then in some sell-off and the price going down. So I wouldn't be surprised if the same happens with ADA. I certainly don't expect the price to crash, but I wouldn't be surprised if there is a slight dip around the 12th of September once smart contracts are released. If we have a quick look at the market as a whole, we are still well above $2 trillion, 2.1 in fact. We dipped below 2 trillion, I think yesterday and day before yesterday, but for the most part over the last few days we stay above that level, which is great. And if you look at the last 24 hours and the last 7 days, majority of the coins in the top 10, top 20 are in green, and some of them quite significantly in green. Cardano, of course, has been performing really well. Ripple's been doing quite well. Dogecoin, Polkadot, Solana. Actually, Polkadot and Solana are quite important. I will come back to that in a second. So yeah, overall, the market seems to be quite active, and there is certainly quite positive sentiment, and prices generally going up. As I mentioned in my previous video, with all the excitement building around Cardano and the release of smart contracts, I'm really interested in all the projects built on Cardano. Apologies for the noise, my cat is doing something. So projects such as CardStarter, which is the launchpad built on Cardano, or OccamFi, which is another launchpad, Charli3, which is an oracle, they all have really big potential for growth because Cardano has $80 billion market cap. So of course it requires a lot of money to be poured into it in order to go up in price. While let's say CardStarter has only 140 million, OccamFi has 95 million, so they are much smaller projects and therefore have much more potential for growth, can move much quicker. So if we look at CardStarter, I mentioned it on Monday when the price was around $30 and it already had a bit of a pump. If we look at last 14 days, it was around $15 for quite a while, $15, $17. Then it had a bit of move up just before the last weekend and stayed around $30 for a while. But then actually it had quite a nice dip and it went as low as around $22, $23 on Wednesday. And as you can see, since then, it's been on a pretty constant move up. It hit, I think, just under $34. So actually, if you bought it on Wednesday, you had a chance to make almost 50% in a couple of days, which is pretty amazing. And still, even at the moment, at $32, it's still down around 60% from its all-time high. So again, it still has huge potential for growth. And that's before the release of smart contracts. That's before Cardano really reaches its full potential. So I expect it to go much higher than the previous all-time high. So it's certainly one of the projects I'm really bullish on. OccamFi, that's been a bit more steady. It had a bit of a dip and this massive spike recently. But again, almost 50% down from all-time high. And again, it's a project with a lot of potential. Charli3, if you watched my previous video, you know that I was a bit more cautious on this one purely because it was at almost $4. And it actually reached its all-time high just the day before at just over $4. Then it dipped like most projects and it's picking up now again. So again, it was quite good opportunity to buy here, but purely because the price is already so inflated, I'm quite cautious on this one. Not because it's a bad project or anything, I just think that the previous two are slightly safer investments. And also I wanted to mention Polkadex today. This is of course one of the projects built on Polkadot blockchain. It's a DEX, decentralized exchange. So why am I mentioning it when I've been talking about Cardano? Well, it's the similar principle as with Cardano. As the main token within the ecosystem goes up, all the smaller projects are likely to go up as well, but far quicker because of their lower market cap. And Polkadex, it's been around $10 or $12 at the end of last week, or beginning of this week, in fact. Then it has this massive spike. There were a couple of influencers talking about it, which of course drove the price up. Then a bit of a dip as you would expect, but now it's on its way up again. I think it's a really solid project. $47 million market cap, so it's really small, ton of potential for growth. And again, this one is almost 60% down from its all-time high. So definitely something worth looking at. Another one would be PolkaStarter, which is launchpad on Cardano blockchain. And of course, there are many others. And you could apply the same principle to Solana or Polygon blockchains, just to see which projects may be worth investing into. So just to summarize, I think the market is moving in the right direction. It's still way too early to tell whether it will be just a pretty constant move up from this point or whether we'll have one more dip. So if we just quickly look at Bitcoin again, since we crossed the 20-week SMA, we've managed to stay above it. We haven't really tested it just yet. We never quite dipped to that level except this 1 week here. It's too early to say that we established this as a support, but certainly it's heading that way. I think we still need at least another couple of weeks above that level to start being a bit more confident that we are actually just going straight up. I still wouldn't be surprised if we dip to that level, which is currently just over $43,000. So that wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Market is certainly heading in the right direction at the moment. And at the moment, I'm most excited about projects which are built on the Cardano ecosystem. Because with ADA currently being at its, or very close to its all-time high, I think the other projects will likely pump quite a bit. And of course, then with the release of smart contracts, we can see those prices going up. I hope you found this video interesting. If you find this content helpful, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you next time. Thank you for watching.